This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute professional medical advice. Please consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare specialist before starting any new vitamins or supplements mentioned in this video. Use of this information is at your own risk. Every morning you look in the mirror, but what you do not see is the quiet, invisible erosion happening beneath your skin. It is a slow, devastating process that is stripping away your independence, your mobility, and your very essence as a woman. Imagine for a moment that your body is not just aging, but literally melting away from the inside. Not the fat, which seems to cling more stubbornly with every passing year, but the very fibers that allow you to stand tall, to lift your grandchildren, and to walk with confidence. This is the terrifying reality of sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass that accelerates violently after you cross the age of 60. It is a silent thief that steals your strength while you are busy following all the right advice. You take your supplements, you watch your diet, and you try to stay active, yet you feel your limbs growing heavier, your grip becoming weaker, and your balance turning into a source of constant anxiety. The most tragic part of this story is that the very thing you are doing to save yourself might actually be the catalyst for your decline. Most women over 60 are caught in a lethal cycle of supplementation that is doing more harm than good, creating a physiological bottleneck that leaves their muscles starving for repair while their joints and arteries begin to calcify. Welcome to EldraFit Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Before we reveal the hidden mechanism that is causing this internal collapse, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support gives us the motivation to continue creating these life-changing deep dives into senior health and longevity. The fear of falling is not just a psychological burden. It is a biological alarm bell. When your muscle tissue begins to vanish, replaced by infiltrations of fat and fibrous tissue, your body loses its ability to regulate everything from your blood sugar to your internal temperature. You are told to take vitamin D to keep your bones strong and your muscles functioning. But what if I told you that in your current state, that vitamin D is sitting dormant in your bloodstream, as useless as a car without an engine? Even worse, without the missing link we are about to discuss, that vitamin D is actively draining your remaining mineral reserves, leaving your muscle fibers brittle and unresponsive. We are talking about a fundamental breakdown at the cellular level that no amount of standard exercise can fix. You are witnessing the biological evaporation of your strength, and the window of time to reverse this process is closing faster than you think. By the end of this journey today, you will understand the exact chemical betrayal happening inside you and how to flip the switch from muscle wasting to muscle building. But first, I want you to reflect on your own journey. Please take a moment to consider this question and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you feel that your current health routine is A, building a stronger version of you every day? B, merely slowing down an inevitable decline that you feel happening in your muscles and joints? Type A or B in the comments. Your honesty helps us understand the community's needs, and you might be surprised by how many others feel exactly the same way. The reason your muscles are failing to respond to your efforts is not because you are just getting old, but because you are missing the spark plug in your biological engine. To understand how to rebuild your strength, we must look past the labels on your supplement bottles and peer into the complex machinery of your cells. Vitamin D is widely misunderstood. It is not a vitamin in the traditional sense. It is a prohormone, a powerful raw material that has the potential to trigger massive muscle protein synthesis. However, in its raw form, it is inert. Think of it as a massive stockpile of coal sitting next to a furnace. It has the energy to heat the entire house, but without someone to shovel it in and a match to light it, the house remains freezing. In your body, the furnace is your muscle tissue, and the match is magnesium. For a woman over 60, the conversion of vitamin D into its active hormonal form, calcitriol, is a grueling multi-step industrial process that takes place in the liver and the kidneys. Every single one of these steps requires magnesium to act as an enzyme activator. Without sufficient magnesium, the factory shuts down. You can flood your system with 5,000 or even 10,000 units of vitamin D, but it will simply circulate in your blood, unable to enter the muscle cells where it is desperately needed to repair the microtears and build new fibers. This is why so many women feel no different despite taking high-dose supplements. They are biologically stuck. Magnesium is the mechanical necessity that unlocks the vitamin D receptor on the surface of your muscle cells. Without it, the receptor remains locked, and the signal to build muscle protein is never delivered. This leads to a state of chronic cellular starvation. Furthermore, magnesium is the primary currency of energy within the muscle itself. Every time you move, your muscles use a molecule called ATP, but ATP is biologically inactive unless it is bound to a magnesium ion. If you are deficient, your muscles cannot efficiently recruit the fibers they already have, let alone build new ones. You experience this as a lack of power or a feeling of being heavy-limbed. This is a deep, structural deficiency that bypasses the superficial benefits of a good diet. As you age, your gut becomes less efficient at pulling magnesium from food, and your kidneys become more leaky, letting this precious mineral slip away. When you combine this with the fact that vitamin D utilization actually consumes magnesium, you realize that by taking vitamin D alone, you are inadvertently accelerating your own muscle weakness. You are burning through your last remaining spark plugs to process a fuel that you cannot even use. This is the hidden reason behind the melting sensation of your muscles. A total system failure caused by a lack of the one element that makes the entire engine run. We are not just talking about nutrition. We are talking about the fundamental physics of how your body generates the strength to exist. Only by understanding this synergy can you begin to stop the erosion and start the reconstruction. There is a profound, almost cruel irony in being told that your health is perfect on paper, while your body whispers a different, darker story every time you try to stand up or reach for a shelf. This is the great deception of modern diagnostics. A clinical gaslighting that leaves millions of women over 60 wandering in a fog of unexplained weakness. You visit your practitioner. You describe the heaviness in your limbs and the fading of your once reliable strength, only to be told that your blood work is exemplary. But here is the secret the laboratory walls won't tell you. The standard magnesium test is a hollow measurement. It is a biological sleight of hand. Your body contains a hierarchy of survival, and it prioritizes the stability of your bloodstream above the health of your muscles, your energy, and your very mobility. Only about 1% of your total magnesium resides in your blood, acting as a critical buffer for your heart rhythm. The other 99% is tucked away deep within your bones and, most importantly, your muscle cells. When your intake falls short, as it does for the vast majority of seniors, your body does not allow the blood levels to drop. That would be a cardiac emergency. Instead, it becomes a silent predator, systematically robbing your muscle tissue of its magnesium reserves to keep the blood levels looking normal. By the time a standard serum test shows a deficiency, you aren't just lacking a mineral, you are in a state of total cellular collapse. Imagine trying to judge the depth of a vast, drying lake by looking only at the water pressure in a single garden hose connected to it. The hose may spray with full force even as the lake bed turns to cracked earth. This is why you feel fragile despite a perfect lab report. Your muscles are being hollowed out from the inside to maintain a metabolic facade. To find the truth, you must look deeper into the architecture of the cell itself. You must demand an RBC magnesium test, which measures the mineral content within the red blood cells. This is the only window into your true physiological status. Until you measure what is happening inside the cell, you are simply guessing with your life, allowing a flawed metric to mask the slow evaporation of your physical independence. The most dangerous path is often the one we walk with the best of intentions. There is a physiological trap waiting for the health-conscious woman who supplements with high-dose vitamin D in a vacuum of knowledge. We have been conditioned to believe that more is better, that vitamin D is the ultimate shield against the frailty of age. But without the balancing hand of magnesium, this shield transforms into a catalyst for a terrifying process known as ectopic calcification. When you flood your system with vitamin D, You are essentially opening the floodgates for calcium absorption in your gut. Under ideal circumstances, this calcium would be the brick and mortar of strong bones and resilient muscles. However, vitamin D is a demanding guest. Its activation and the subsequent management of calcium consume magnesium at an industrial rate. If your magnesium stores are already depleted, as we now know they likely are, this influx of calcium becomes a rogue element. Without magnesium to act as the traffic director and natural calcium channel blocker, this mineral does not find its way into your skeleton. Instead, it begins to settle in the softest, most vulnerable parts of your anatomy. It invades your heart valves, your arterial walls, and most tragically for your mobility, your muscle fibers and tendons. You might mistake this for the stiffness of old age or the onset of arthritis, but it is often something far more avoidable. You are literally turning to stone from the inside out. Your once supple muscle tissue becomes gritty and inelastic, riddled with microscopic deposits of calcium that make every movement feel like grinding gears. This is the backfire effect. By taking vitamin D alone, you have inadvertently stripped your body of the very mineral required to keep calcium in its place. You are not building a stronger body. You are creating a biological environment where your muscles are becoming brittle and your cardiovascular system is becoming rigid. It is a chemical betrayal. To prevent this, you must realize that these nutrients are not independent actors. They are a locked pair. Taking one without the other is not just ineffective. It is a recipe for systemic hardening that steals the fluidity of your youth and replaces it with a fragile, calcified shadow of your former self. The path to reclaiming your physical sovereignty begins not with a radical overhaul, but with a strategic, foundational restoration. You must stop guessing and start building from the cellular ground up. The first and most critical step in this restoration is establishing your magnesium foundation. Before you even consider touching that bottle of vitamin D, you must spend at least 2 to 4 weeks saturating your cells with the right form of magnesium. Forget the cheap, poorly absorbed magnesium oxide found in most grocery stores. It will only irritate your digestion without ever reaching your muscle fibers. Instead, turn to magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate. Glycinate is a gentle, highly bioavailable form that soothes the nervous system and prepares your muscles for deep, restorative repair during sleep. Malate is the energy seeker, specifically designed to support the ATP production that gives your muscles the spark of life they've been missing. Aim for 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium in the evening, aligning with your body's natural rhythm of recovery. Once the foundation is set, you can layer in vitamin D3, but never in isolation. You must pair it with vitamin K2 in the MK7 form. If magnesium is the engine's spark, K2 is the master architect that ensures the calcium pulled in by vitamin D actually reaches your skeleton and muscle matrix instead of clogging your arteries or hardening your tissues. This triad, magnesium, D3, and K2, forms a complete biological defense system. Beyond supplements, you must embrace the primal medicine of strategic sunlight. 15 minutes of direct exposure during the peak hours of the day can synthesize vitamin D in a way no pill ever could, provided your magnesium levels are adequate to process it. Finally, address the silent drains on your vitality. Chronic stress is a magnesium thief, and a compromised gut is a barrier to every nutrient you ingest. By supporting your intestinal lining with fiber and fermented foods while reducing the toxic load of processed sugars and alcohol, you transform your body from a leaking vessel into a fortress of strength. This is not a quick fix. It is a profound realignment with your own biology that ensures your muscles remain your greatest asset as you age. As we draw this journey to a close, I want you to sit with a final, vital realization. Your body is not your enemy, and its decline is not an inevitable sentence you are forced to serve. The weakness you have felt, the nagging stiffness in your joints, and the melting of your muscles were never signs of a broken system. They were calls for help from a biological machine that was simply missing its most fundamental components. We live in a world that constantly sells us isolated, fragmented solutions for complex, interconnected problems. We are told to take a pill for this symptom and a supplement for that ache, without ever being taught how these elements must dance together inside the silent cathedral of our cells to create true health. Magnesium and vitamin D are more than just names on a health store shelf. They are a biological partnership that defines the quality of your later years. To ignore one while obsessing over the other is like trying to drive a car with a full tank of gas but no oil in the engine. You might move forward for a little while, but eventually the internal friction will destroy the machine from the inside out. By embracing the synergy of these nutrients, you are doing more than just preventing loss. You are reclaiming the right to move through the world with grace, power, and independence. You are choosing to be an active participant in your life, not a passive spectator of your own aging. This shift from passive decline to active restoration is perhaps the most courageous act a woman can undertake after 60. It requires patience, a commitment to data over guesswork, and a deep, abiding respect for the intricate mechanics of your own existence. The evaporation of your strength stops today because you now possess the knowledge that was hidden from you. The reconstruction of your vitality begins with your very next meal, your next supplement, and your next intentional step into the sunlight. You have the map. You understand the mechanics. Now it is time to honor your body by giving it exactly what it has been asking for all along. The profound lesson: true health is found in synergy, not isolation. In the human body, as in nature, nothing thrives alone. When we try to fix a complex problem like muscle loss with a single magic bullet supplement, we often create new imbalances. Strength is the result of a perfectly orchestrated harmony between minerals, hormones, and lifestyle. How to apply this today: request an RBC magnesium test and a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test from your healthcare provider this week to establish your baseline. Before increasing your vitamin D intake, focus on a magnesium-first approach for 14 days by incorporating more pumpkin seeds and dark leafy greens into your diet, paired with a high-quality magnesium glycinate supplement in the evening. This prepares your cellular engine to handle the vitamin D you will later introduce. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much has muscle stiffness or a loss of strength affected your daily activities lately? Please share your number in the comments below so we can see how common this challenge is in our community and support each other. If this information has empowered you today, please subscribe to EldraFit Nutrition. Your support allows us to continue bringing you these deep, science-backed insights that help you stay strong and independent for years to come.